today for Teacher Tales, I want to tell a story that I consider my craziest day ever as a teacher. So the story that I'm going to tell today is the time that I had to watch the class that made a teacher quit. Okay, so this happened a while ago, so we're going to back up to like the beginning of the school year. So I personally don't know if this lady ever started working here or if she came for a little while and then left. I've never met her a day in my life. But whatever happened, there was a lady in my department that quit or whatever. And when she quit, of course, her classes did not have teachers for a very, very long time. So we would always have to cover, the classes during our planning period. We would have to essentially bring them in our room or go into their room so that we can watch, these students so that they weren't unattended. So I've covered classes before, but this time was very different. The time that I covered this class, the lady, I was not prepared. Let's just say this. The time that I covered this class, I was not prepared because there's different types of classes, right? So there are classes that have a teacher, a permanent teacher, but that teacher is maybe on vacation or taking a sick day or whatever. So they already have structure and they have some type of foundation. You're just kind of like, filling in. But then there are classes that don't have a teacher at all. So when you watch them, you're just like a regular sub because they see somebody different every single day. So this class was one of those. And let me tell you, that period was pure hell. That whole time was like the worst day ever. Like I literally could have gotten in my car and just left that day. Like that day was insane. So the bell rings and it's supposed to be time for me to have planning, but of course I didn't have that luxury because I had to watch these kids. So I put a sign on their door for them to come to my room because I wanted to stay in my room. So they start coming in, and at first I'm thinking like, oh, this is gonna be a breeze because they were coming in like one by one, little by little, and there wasn't a lot of people coming. So like there's like 6-7 people in the room the whole time. The roster has like 35 kids on it. So I'm thinking like, oh, I done hit the jackpot. Look, if y'all gonna skip, y'all ain't hurting me. That's just less people that I have to be responsible for. But what they did was they were all just late because they just had this I don't care mentality. It's just a sub, what's she gonna do? So after the bell rung, I'm thinking like, oh, I got a maid, I gotta watch 6 kids, I can still plan, I can still do whatever I need to do. But no, everybody started to show up slowly but surely, and after a while the classroom was full. Man, when I tell you, those kids did not sit still for 1 minute, and they were playing around at first. And because I'm covering this class, I don't even know what this subject is. I didn't know until they got here. I didn't have any work for them to do, so I'm basically babysitting. So I don't care if you're gonna chit chat a little bit, play around. That doesn't bother me. But they started arguing. So they started arguing. I don't know what happened because everybody seemed cool at first, but somewhere in the play, it got serious. And I saw these 2 guys arguing. They're just going at it back and forth. And I'm thinking like, are this for real or are they playing? So after a while, it starts to get a little bit more rowdy. And I'm just like, no, they for real. So I'm like, hey, y'all gotta chill out, calm down. And let me tell you something. But let me tell you, I don't know if my words like triggered them or what. But it's like the minute I tried to calm everybody down and diffuse the situation, it got worse. I have never in my life seen nobody pick up a desk and throw it across the classroom. Listen. There are, I know people have anger problems. I know some people have mental problems. But these kids were throwing desks in my room. I'm over here like, are you for real? I had never, because I've dealt with rowdy kids before, but this day was just pure insanity. And I was just like, ain't no way this is real. So I get up, I call the front office from the little classroom phone, no answer. Then I run back over here and I get this little like notepad that I was given when I first started working here, like APs, and their cell phone numbers. So I got my phone, I'm calling people, no answer. When I tell you I called like 7-8 people that day, nobody answered. I had to literally call somebody in the front office on their personal phone just to tell them, like, where the heck are y'all at? Like, what is going on? I'm calling y'all because I got desks being thrown in my classroom. Literally, these kids were fighting in the room. They're in the back of the classroom squaring up. I'm not going over there because look at me, I'm 5 foot. All these kids bigger than me. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I literally walked out the room and I'm like standing at the door looking down the hallway. I'm like, Lord Jesus. And normally we have like hall monitors and like APs walking around. But the day that I needed somebody, the hallway empty. Ain't nobody out there, ain't nobody looking around. There's nobody for me to call. So finally I text in like this group chat, like, where the heck is everybody at? I can't get nobody to answer the phone, blah, 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 blah. They're like, oh, call the front office. Oh yeah, sure, I didn't think of that one. I'm like, I did. Nobody's answering. Well, did you call their cell? I did. Like, everybody's telling me, well, you need to go through the proper channels. I did. So literally this day I had these kids throwing desks around, fighting in the back of the classroom, just acting crazy. So an AP came in, took like 5 of them to ISS. Out of a classroom of 35, 5 of them, but okay. Took like 5 of them to ISS. So of course the fighting stopped, but they were still like very loud and rowdy. So finally, I'm asking them, I'm like, do y'all have assignments to do? Because I wasn't aware that these kids had been without a teacher for 3 months. So I'm like, you know, do you guys have anything to do on campus, online? You know, nobody gave me anything, but maybe you guys know where to find the assignments. They're like, no, we don't do work in here. I'm like, well, why not? They're like, we ain't had a teacher in 3 months. I said, oh, why not? They're like, because we made her quit. I said, what you mean y'all made her quit? Because they used to be roasting her. They used to be talking about her. They just give me...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are attending any event tonight, the basketball game or the talent show, you need to be supervised by an adult. If you're not attending either one of those and you're not with an adult, the campus is closed. Jaden Glover, report to Student Affairs. Jaden Glover, report to Student Affairs.
We're gonna let that one slide because it's after school hours. So, you know, they're not interrupting nobody. They're just trying to tell y'all you ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get out of here. But yeah, so they were just telling me all the things that, you know, happened the first 2 weeks of school, where this teacher was like, basically, heck no, like, I'm not finna deal with this. And they're just kikiing and laughing, like, yeah, one time somebody moved her seat, and one time, like, telling me all these stories of them basically terrorizing this lady, like it's cute. And I'm just like, what class is this? They're like, oh, this is intensive reading. I said, so this is an intensive reading class, and y'all are bragging about the fact that y'all made y'all teacher quit. So who gonna teach you how to read? Oh, miss, I know how to read. I know how to read. I'm like, okay, cool. But literally, these kids were so proud of the fact that they made their teacher quit. But they are the ones that are now without help. And this wasn't like an honors class or a regular class. This was a lower level class. So if anybody needs the help, it's you. But you're so proud of the fact that you ran off the one person that tried to help you. But when I tell you, that day was insane. Like, these kids were throwing stuff, fighting. I literally had to clean up. And I don't usually clean up my room because, like, if it's just little stuff here and there, child, please, somebody pick it up. Them kids will pick it up when they get back. I don't spend a lot of time, like, going around cleaning, scrubbing, and sweeping. Otherwise, I would never get anything done if I felt like I had to keep this classroom spotless. I do pick up stuff here and there, but for the most part, I say look around you, pick up before you leave. But that day, I had to clean my room up. Because when I tell you there was like ripped up paper, these trying to rip my posters off the wall. My posters off the wall. My 9th graders did a project where they had to create posters. So they had this group project where everybody did their research on a topic. They created their posters, real cute, colorful posters, and then presented them in front of the classroom. I love those posters. That's why they're posted all around the room. These children ripped my poster, child. Ripped my poster right up. And finally, when I get an AP to come down here, there's like 4 of them came at one time. I guess because I was doing so much, but the reason why I was doing that much is because I had already called. I called like 7 different phone numbers. So by this point, yes, I'm gonna do the most because what is going on? So finally they started to come in. It's like 4 of them came at one time. So now it's like, oh yeah, we ready. But they all came, and then and they're just like, oh well, since we know that you have a hard time handling classes that don't have teachers, we won't give you those classes anymore. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. I said, well, really, let me back up. When they came down here, I told them, I said, I will never watch this class again, and I will never watch a class that does not have a teacher. Now, if somebody's on vacation and they needed a day off or they're sick, that's one thing. But you're talking about these kids ain't had nobody to tell them nothing in the last 3 months? Heck no. And they're just like, oh, we understand. Since you're not comfortable with that, we won't give it to you. I'm like, you're saying that as if that was your choice. I already told you I wasn't doing it no more. Then you're going to say, oh, we're not going to give you any more classes like this. No, duh, because you can't. I literally said I'm not going to do it. But that was just so funny to me how, like, you tell somebody something and they act like it was their idea or whatever. But that was the story of when I watched the class that made their teacher quit. And these kids were very proud of the fact that they terrorized a lady so bad the first 2 weeks of school that she quit. And I don't know if, they were really happy about it or just kind of telling the story and laughing with it. I just know that it wasn't a good look, and it was a really, really rough class to deal with, so I understand why she left. That class was also upperclassmen. I teach freshmen, and I have 2 sophomore classes, but the majority of my day is like 13, 14-year-olds, so I can deal with them. But those juniors and seniors that are like 17, 18, you gotta go. And you can't come back, because I can deal with aggravating kids because they're being children. But what I can't deal with is grown people. And that's what a lot of the upperclassmen think that they are. But yeah, so that was that crazy class that I will never watch again. And that's it today for Teacher Tales.